No, my biddies, how are you? I'm doing my hair. Still wet in the shower. Not because I took showers particularly late. It was like an hour ago, at least an hour and a half ago. It's just that humid. Oh, no, that's not going to fly. Well, it is flying, but it's not going to fly. It is flying, but no flies. Fly away here. How are you? I'm good. I could be better. I still hasn't gotten down to where I can sleep at night. So I've been up since 5 again. Maybe today I'll get tired and take a nap. I don't know. I still have to go to the store. I have to go to the store today at some point. Yeah, I'm still messing with my hair. I can't do it opposite. It doesn't look right or feel right. It's not like looking in a mirror. Mirrors I can do. Okay. Maybe that'll be okay. Any news? I watched part of Balin Out Loud. Good big news. Colin got his horse. So we're all happy about that, right? We're all happy that Colin got his stinking horse. His white horse. It's a white horse. So he gets to ride into the wedding on a white horse. What could be better? I'm sorry. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but Balin's reception dress is perfect for her. I love it. It's so cool. I'm weird. Would I wear it? I don't know. Depends on the circumstances. When I've worn it at her age, definitely. I would have totally worn it at her age. You'd have seen some of the things I wore in the 80s. No. I looked cute in the 80s. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, shoot. I should have been plugged in. I don't think I have anything to plug it in with. So, anyway, how are y'all? I'm good. Another reminder I will not be here tomorrow, but I will be back on Friday. Um, we're having company tomorrow. So I have to clean and stuff. And it's too hot for that. It's way too hot for that. I'm putting the air on if it's another. If I get up and it's 70 degrees in the house again, I'm putting the air on. I don't care. Uh, Anybody got thoughts? Thoughts, anyone? No? You're supposed to be thoughting in the chat there, dudes. Come on, work with me here. All right, I guess we'll just get into it then. What one to do. Yeah, other than that, I have no news. Oh, good news out of Massachusetts. I think it's Massachusetts. Yeah, Massachusetts expanded their abortion access to any point during pregnancy. This is a good thing. I realize that y'all think that a lot of y'all, not all y'all, but to way too many of you think that um, people should not be allowed health care when they're pregnant. And they definitely should not be allowed health care while they're pregnant. But here's the thing, this law makes it easier for doctors to give proper health care to women, especially late in pregnancy. So go away. Oh, man. First one. I thought I was good. But apparently I'm not. I thought we were all good for starting, and then we're not. Um, Infuriating. That's all right. Oh, mildly infuriating deleted their picture. There's nothing in the. See, this is what I have to deal with, guys. This is mildly infuriating to me. So we go to Google Drive. We go to our read order because I have them all in order. Mildly infuriating is thankfully the first one. I mark this one as not available because I do mark them. And, oh, this one's funny, so that'll work. Here. Well, there. Somebody paid $10 at something at Disney for something. But I don't know what it was because they deleted it. But this one's great. The title. Okay, so this is for violently infuriating. They put the receipt in my burger. I feel for them, I really do. Some nasty stuff on the ink that they use for those things. But have you ever seen them put the receipt? I get it. They're probably in a hurry. They're probably in a really bad rush. I mean, I know that a lot of these burger places are very understaffed. I don't understand why, because apparently no one's working. At least according to the righties, no one's working. But they're all understaffed and overworked. And this is the result of something like that happening. Poor thing. There's just the one picture. That is mildly infuriating. I will give them that. Freebase Clam says, "Did you ask for no receipt?" And Super Hit Up says, "They asked for extra receipt." But you asked for your extra receipt on the side, man. Ask for it on the side. LMAO, I hope you went back and got an employee, presented the box and opened it like that, saying nothing else. Banana Phone says, "Seriously, my kitchen staff once put an entire glove into a burger in a to-go order. That was fun. This would have been an appropriate response." Yeah, I mean, if I find a glove in a burger, I'm not going to be too happy on it to go order, especially. So I got to check things. Wise Presentation says, "I got a glove in my chicken sandwich from a fast food place once. What sucks is I had already walked all the way home, so I couldn't even go back and complain about it for a new sandwich. Just had to toss it. Was legit cooked into it." Wow. Apparently that happens a lot. I have not had that happen to me. Now it will happen to me. Now it will happen to me because I said it's never happened to me before. Can you imagine biting into a burger and trying to bite out a glove? Okay. $5 says, "Rookie mistake. You have to ask for no receipt." I'm not continuing his name. It is inappropriate. Mr. John says, "Order yourself. You order yours with no receipt. I ask for extra double receipt. So much better." I still say you want the receipt on the side. That's my petty revenge, and it is entitled, "Brag about how you just outbid me. Fine, I'll just outplay you." Ooh. This is incredibly stupid and petty, but here we are. So that's how we started. So they know they're being petty, which is the best kind of petty. I was at a charity auction for a rich. Oh, squeezy. It was a charity auction for a niche world, very niche world, this past weekend. I'm keeping things vague as it is very such. It is such a niche world. And the mood at these events is always jovial, brash, loud, and fun. Everyone's having a good time. There's a live auction with simultaneous silent auction that ends a few minutes after the live one. It's a positive, almost celebratory atmosphere. So the auction would be a charity event. How that they're raising money. Hi, Lauren. How are you today? We got Lauren baby in the chat. I miss you. I saw she's working. Boo. I'm working too. This is my work. Work. Um, One of the well-known figures in this little world was bidding on what seemed like half the silent auction items. We'll call him Steve. He always upbids by just the minimum $1 and it felt like he was impossibly everywhere. Items were on tables lining a large bouquet hall, so not just one central location. There was one fun-themed home decor item I loved. I had been on it a few times. I was keeping an eye on it. When I went to update my bid, at one point, a woman was standing in front of it, with Steve standing next to him. I'm confused. Was it a woman or a guy? She immediately upped my bid and then stood with her hands on the table in front of it, blocking it almost like guarding a toy. Okay, whatever. Playfully, I said something like, you really want it, eh? Man, I see your name everywhere. It's like, just give up if you see Steve's name. Steve, yeah, I have 3 people out here watching tables and bidding for me. What? Rude. Okay, this is blatantly against the rules, as is guarding the item. But I'm nobody in this dude bros. Somebody in this world, so whatever. Me. Should I even bother try bidding on anymore? Steve condescendingly. You can, but I'll just outbid you. Okay, douche, I see you. Whatever, you can have this cool thing if your ego needs it that badly, and I walked away. At the end of the live auction, they announced that the final 60 seconds for bids. I know Steve was not near cool items, so I sped over to the table, excitedly placed my bid. Then I realized a nearby different woman was one of Steve's assigned biddies, and she immediately outbid me. During those 30th seconds, she wrote the bid. I asked, "Oh, you're bidding for Steve, eh?" Yeah, she looked apologetic and embarrassed, configuring, let's at least make this sport. Well, do you have a top bid? No, he just told me to be sure to win it. Cool, cool, cool. Well, it happened. She finished her writing and set the paper down just as the auctioneer started counting down the last 10 seconds. I immediately snatched up the paper and writing the winning bid with 1 second to spare, shamelessly throwing my 50-year-old arms up in the air. Woohoo! Victory. He may have outbid me, but I outplayed him. I feel a little bad for the woman not doing what he impressed upon her to do, but suck it, Steve. It's mine. Oh, and it looks awesome in my house. That's the way to do it. No, Steve is a jerk, clearly. Good enough for government work, says, well played. I figured you'd go place an outrageous bid and make Steve pay out the nose. That's what I thought was going to happen too. That's what I would have done. I would have done it real fast. They had time to upbid me. It makes money for the charity. It's fine. Dr. Teeth, PhD, said you should have gone around bidding and everything else in his name. And Opie says she'll have to do that next time. Desperately Seeking says, next time, wait until the end when he's not around and put outrageous bids 10 times what they're worth so his helpers can build a dollar more and he gets fleeced. PM Worst Fart Story says, for charity. Menudo says that can get expensive if the helpers don't cooperate. You should only do it on ones that he really, really wants. Ones he really, really wants. Really. Next is entitled Am I Overreacting? Or from Am I Overreacting? It is entitled AIO. My boyfriend sent me a meme implying spending time with me is boring compared to his homies. My boyfriend, male 21, and I, female 19, are together since our second year of high school. There's a whole thing. I don't even feel like looking at it. These are kids. It's not going to be that interesting. He sent me a meme that says the most entertaining night with your with your girlfriend showing a happy girl and a very bored guy lying on a bed doing absolutely nothing. Then it said least entertaining night with your bro, followed by a compilation of videos of guys doing crazy stuff, jumping on tables, accidentally hitting each other, jumping onto a trampoline from a roof, gambling, etc. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Tell somebody start. I didn't really appreciate that, and it took it to mean that the time we spend together is boring for him and that he doesn't enjoy it. To be fair, we really don't do much. He comes over, we play video games together, or I paint my models while he's on his phone, and we just cuddle and chat. It really doesn't sound that amazing, but I thought it was enough for us. We're both introverts who spend a lot of time at home, and he's never complained about being bored. If he's bored, then he needs to suggest something to do. He needs to go. He needs to take the lead and suggest something to do if he's so bored. His implicating that his homies are more interesting than his girlfriend is just obnoxious to me. My blood boils just thinking about it. People have always told me how interesting and funny to be around I am, and I was proud of that. We're friends for several years before our relationship started, and I always thought it was the ideal way to get together, getting closer slowly without even planning it. Like I used to be one of the homies, but I guess it really doesn't matter now. I don't know what to think. Maybe I'm asking for too much. My mom said this is normal behavior for young guys, but I still feel bad about this whole situation. I truly don't know if I should take this meme seriously. Your mother is is encouraging this behavior, like seriously. Like this boys will be boys thing. It's dumb. Blood Moon says tell him to date one of his homies. Nor. Uh cute but kind of useless says, yeah, for real. This part made me wonder if dude is locally closeted. Second top rated comment is from Owie, and it says I was ready to say he was doing a bad job of explaining himself and meaning that there's a difference between exciting and enjoyable / fulfilling. But then he hit you with being so bored he wanted to leave, and saying you're yappy. Nah, wang that guy. You're yappy. So he doesn't like the chats. Break up with this guy. Break up with him. He needs to go away. Marble says, I mean, do you really want to be with someone who finds you boring? The way he talks to you isn't even respectful. He didn't even apologize for being a dick. OP says his words caught me by surprise, and I never would have thought he'd find me boring. That's the hard part. We got together because of our shared hobbies and interests, and we could always find things to yap about, and I'm so confused right now. I can do this all day, says. It seems like you've been caught by surprise because you're finally learning how he really views you. He doesn't see you as an interesting / fun person who he enjoys being around because of who they are. You're just a girlfriend to him. It may seem to you that you got together because of your shared hobbies and interests, but that could have just been him feigning interest in an attempt to woo you. Many men compartmentalize this way. Women are there purely for romantic purposes, and their friends are the people they actually like and spending time with. He sees putting up with your yapping and boring nights the price he pays to sleep with you. I bet you'd be heartbroken and completely shocked if you could hear the way he talks around his boys. Yeah, that's true of a lot of guys. Friend relative answers, I was in my 30s before I realized men weren't asking me out on dates and wanting to be in a relationship with me primarily for my personality, brain, and character. I was so disappointed to learn it was about my body, looks, and sex. I consider my mind and nature my best assets. I was really sad. At least OP is learning now, I suppose. OP, the trick is to find a man who likes your character and your looks / sex. Yeah. He's got to like all of you, not just one aspect of you. Next we have entitled people. Entitled kids think they can play with my girlfriend's crutches. Oh, that's not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Unless she gets express permission. Last night, my girlfriend and I went to eat at a popular dive bar. This bar is popular both for its amazing fried chicken and their thriving raccoon population. Okay. Because my girlfriend shattered her foot, she hasn't been able to get out much, and I thought it would be the perfect date to cheer her up. On one side of the establishment has enormous bay windows through which you can watch the Raccoons enjoy table scraps as you eat. Okay, that's weird. Sorry, but that's weird. As this is a dive bar, there are no reservations. You can't choose where you sit. Thus, sitting next to the window is highly coveted. In all the years I've been going there, I have had the privilege of sitting up next to the window maybe twice. You can usually expect some people to peer over your shoulder or snap a quick photo of raccoons while you're eating, but most people are respectful about it. Keyword most. Last night the bar was overrun with children. It's also late summer, which means baby raccoons are out in full swing. The two of us were seated right next to the window, with my back parallel to the window and hers facing the corner. At first, we had a great time cooing at the little raccoons tearing into their early evening snacks. Then the children came. Our table was flanked by three families, all with children under the age of 10. The first few times a kid got all up in my space, I cut their parents some slack. Children get excited about baby animals, and they're still learning boundaries. Their parents just want a peaceful night out, etc. Thankfully, two of the families corrected their kids and steered them away from our space. The largest of the bunch, however, did not. So now you know where your problem children are coming from. I crap you not. Before we even got our food, these kids started banging on the windows with their fists, the kind of banging that would scare fish at an aquarium. Right next to my ear, naturally. I'm thinking that the kid big enough to be in third grade should know better, and his little brother should too, but they pay me no mind. It's like I'm a non-person character, vaguely in their way while they embark in their quest to frighten as many unassuming animals as possible. Their parents are watching, disinterested, but they don't intervene. My girlfriend, being the sweetheart that she is, sees my uncomfortable face and asks if I want to switch spots. She reasons she's more comfortable with kids being in her space than I am. Once the last kid has returned to his table, we switch places. To everyone watching us switch, it's obvious she's in a cast. I make sure to put her crutches on her side of the table, thinking to myself, surely they won't get all up in her space when that would risk knocking over her crutches. Surely her parents won't allow it. Then I glance over at the family a few minutes later, and the middle child is staring at us. Entitled dad is holding the pouty preschooler in his lap. The oldest boy is knee deep in his fried chicken. I mistakenly thought the worst was over. No, no, it was not. We were hardly 15 minutes into our dinner when I looked behind my girlfriend and noticed the two other boys standing directly behind her. They're fiddling with their crutches, peeking through them, touching the handlebars and screws. My jaw dropped. I made direct eye contact with their mother, who seemed to be staring straight through me. And then with the young parents sitting behind my girlfriend, who seemed just as shocked as I was, their toddler was more well behaved. My girlfriend turned to the kids and said, "Hey, please can you not touch those? They're medical aids and I need them to walk. My foot is broken." They gave her a blank stare. They didn't react with shame. They didn't even stop touching them. The younger one went, "Oh, crutches," as he pulled on the rubber handle, and the older one said nothing. My girlfriend said gently but firmly, "Yes, they're crutches and I need them. Can you please stop touching them?" They stared for a couple more seconds before wandering back to their seats. I glanced over at the family a few minutes later, and I saw the entitled mom glaring at us like she wanted to shoot lasers out of her eyes. My girlfriend turned around to confirm, and moms glared at her too. At that point, the mood was ruined. We left shortly after that, but they made sure to leave faster. Not a single apology or even an ounce of guilt, just pure unbridled entitlement. Parents like these tick me off because they ruin it for everybody. Because everybody thinks that because these kids act like this, everybody's kids are going to act like that, and they don't. Good parents don't allow their kids to act like that. Linearity Drift says, top rated comment, and they say, proudest moment of my life is when my wife asked the parents in a case similar to this, would you like some recommendations on parenting classes for you and your husband? I like that woman so much. Breshna asked, "Oh, I love your wife. That was awesome." Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to remember that one. I know a good parenting class. It's the one that the courts use called um, Love and Logic. It's great. Look it up. They're out of Colorado. They've been around forever. I mean, my oldest is 31, and I used them when I went to classes before he was born. So, no enthusiasm said, I'm in a wheelchair over the past 25 years. I've had to yell at a handful of don't touch my winging chair after calm please don't touch my wheelchair warning, followed by chalk Pikachu faces from the offender. Ender Bookworm says, seriously, a wheelchair is like an extension of its user's body. You wouldn't randomly pick up a random standing person and put them down somewhere else because you felt like it, would you? Well, I mean, there are people. Honestly, it's an open question with some nitwits, but you shouldn't. Second typewriter comment is from Baroness, and she says, I'm a school teacher. I have absolutely no problem telling people how to behave in public. It horrifies my husband at times. Like when I loudly ask the woman next to me in the theater, are you almost done with your phone call? If not, step out of the theater, please. Otherwise, put away your phone. When I say loudly, I mean high school teacher voice. I can project to the back of the room. Good for you. Yeah, when I correct people too, my husband gets upset. He's non-confident. He is non-confrontational unless it's me. Cyborg Knitter answers, I pulled out a teacher voice at the pool a few weeks ago. Boys, those are not your kickboards, and you will break them acting like this. It's very loud, and there's other people in the room. Indoor pool with their deliberately stupid noises echoed like crazy. Then they resumed their behavior the second I left the room. I called the front desk immediately, who immediately came down and kicked them out for the day. The gym already locks up the noodles due to people like them. If they keep it up, those kickboards will get locked up too. Yeah, unfortunately, none of us can have nice things since people can't behave. The mauve tone says, coming from a parent with 4 kids, bring back normalizing shaming people, even the parents, especially the parents. So this is a picture. This is from Murder by Words. It's a picture of Melania and a nice picture of Melania and a terrible picture of Michelle Obama. And it's by Vic Slingman, because I will name and shame. Talk about Beauty and the Beast. And Jared answers, Melania was a nude model. Michelle Obama is a Harvard-educated lawyer. Yeah. And Obama, I'm sorry, but Michelle Obama is beautiful. This Handu says, Michelle is also happy around her husband and supports him publicly. Linguist turned stay-at-home mom answers, and literally holds his hands willingly and happily. Lots of memes. Lots of memes. Yellow Online says, Michelle Obama is almost 10 years older, too. Also, Melania Trump had some work done, and her photo is heavily makeup. For Obama, they took one without. Yeah. Understanding C says they edited the photo, but Michelle Obama never looked like that. Eat Your Checker says even the most beautiful people can look bad in a bad frame. Exactly. And expressed in a certain lighting. But if all they have is attacks on looks, it's because they don't want to talk about any of the substance because they know they'll lose every time. 100%. I heard Trump also got a new wig. So that's exciting. Next, we have Traumatized and Back, and it is entitled Homophobes Got a Taste of Their Own Medicine. It says med and medicine, but not with the E on the end. So I'm pronouncing it medicine. So this happened to me a day ago. Me, 26, female to male, was on a train ride with some friends from a day trip. We were sat in 6-seated area as the train stopped at a platform that's maybe half an hour away from ours. On this platform, a group of guys no older than us look through the window, point, and start laughing. Then they enter and walk to the train car behind ours for double taking and walking into ours. Then they walk past and they say, loud and proud, these people must be the slur that starts with an F and is used for, and is the word for cigarettes in England. And then walk to the train car behind ours. Now, I'm not going to lie. Yes, most of his friends group are gay. Most of this friends group are gay people, and we look gay, mostly due to 2 of my girlfriends. I'll call T 16 female and L. So Terry and Lori being both 16 females, being pretty masked, and my guy friend Alan, male 16, has a bit longer hair than most guys here in Sweden. Oh, this is in Sweden. It should be noted that two of the people they saw clearly was my sister, Elizabeth, female 17, and her boyfriend, Harry, male 17. I made up the names because they use initials and I hate that. Back to it. After that, we were shocked and started plotting. We decided when we got off, we were going to be as gay as possible. So time comes for us to get off. We walk to the door where they should also come off of, and they are going to be in our city. But instead, they take the long way around and go to a different train door. I jokingly call out saying, "Kiss, kiss, lay the house down, queens." The kiss, kiss being the Swedish words, since, Viva Sweden. But this made them mad. As we got off the train, they walk a bit behind us, say, "Come here, you F slurs, and I'll push you back onto the track." Which, is a pretty weird thing to say, but it snaps something in us and we come up with a plan. A plan to just follow them and say the most gayest things we can think of. So we followed them off the platform saying things like slay queens, and they start fast walking away, and we walk a bit after them to see if they'll hear something back. We keep on being as gay as possible until they lose us and we go to sit down. We sit down on a sales square, and right then they come back and say, "OMG, you're back looking for us? Want a kiss?" Before they walk away again. Then they proceed to walk the weirdest ways just to walk past us. We get enough, and my sister, who is holding Harry's hand, holds up their hands and say, "Look how gay we are." After that, they didn't come back. One of the guys looked furious from it, like teeth bit together and fully red. We also got one of their names, which I won't mention, but we did call out that name, and they looked terrified. Yeah, they're probably yelling at each other. We saw security guards around, but we chose not to talk because we knew we already learned a lesson that some people just won't take their BS, but actually fire back. Now they're a joke in our friend group by calling them, insert the dude's name and the climate stealers in Swedish. The name then Miljarna. I don't know how to pronounce Swedish. May have been petty, but it sure was fun to chase homophobes around our city. No, that does sound fun. I would participate wholly. Square Medicine as a top rate comment, and they say, "Considering they threatened your lives throwing you on the train tracks, they got off easy. I really loved how you made them so uncomfortable, exaggerating your queerness." This is the way to do it. Like, they're scared of you. If they weren't scared of you, they wouldn't be homophobes. Tabsil says this, "OP, next time someone threatened to kill you or your friends, please make sure their asses end up in jail." Love Pickle says, "For you and your friends to be this bold at 16, 17, 18 is fantastic. If you were my kid, I'd tell you I was proud of you." Yeah, I would too. Lauren knows that. OP says, "Yeah, you're not alone on that. Me and my sister told our mom and dad, and they were super proud. My dad even said it's good to chase cowardly bigots." Yeah. Plastic Stable is the third top right comment. They say, "Really, his best insult was these people must be F words. So beyond boring. I'm glad you guys made them wildly uncomfortable. Weighing homophobes. At least make me laugh if you're going to insult me." Yeah, really. Show up on there. Assuming it's. Next, we have toxic family members, and I don't know how this got in here, but it did. It is entitled, "I kicked my 20-year-old son out. I, 46 female, my husband, 55 male, kicked out our son last night. He punched multiple holes in the wall in his room because he was fighting with his girlfriend because he spray painted on her bag on purpose. You didn't teach your kid better than that before he was 20? I'm afraid now he's going to come home and vandalize more of the house or my cars. He has money in savings, and I told him that I will be using it to fix up his room." Well, that's not right. That's called stealing. "He wants his money and said he will be messing up my cars if he doesn't get that." That's not right either. He's going to wind up in jail. And guess who's going to bail him out? You are. "I'm afraid for myself, my 13-year-old daughter, and my 20-year-old son." I thought this was your 20-year-old son. "I'm afraid I'm going to have to get a PFA. I tried helping him control his emotions, but that's not the first time he's done this." So this is pretty bad. I mean, he should not be doing this. especially at 20. It's ridiculous. I mean, this is teenagery. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, there's no reason for that. All the whole way through the wall. That's insane. Your son needs help. Your son needs help, and you need to probably have figured that out already. Any schedule said I'd be worried for the girlfriend here too. Yes, I'd be worried about her too. Men putting holes in the wall is just another way to say, look what I could have done to you. You could try and press charges on him or push something in small claims for the damage if he doesn't pay out, because that's an unreal amount of destruction for a fight he caused through his own dumb actions. Get cameras and change your locks. Furthermore, be prepared to call the cops on your son. Like, really think about it and go through the motions, because the moment arrives will be difficult to make the call. But honestly, the kid needs it. He needs, hopefully, intervention before then. I mean that with love here, Mom. Your kid is dangerous and needs serious wake-up call. Hopefully getting kicked out will do the trick, but might take time and a 6x8 to get his head straight. Tiny alien person answers, agreed to get in contact with the girlfriend right away and telling her it is not her fault. Spray painting her bag is abusive, period. Damaging something for no other reason than to show who's boss, and then escalating it to the wall. I wouldn't be surprised if he also lays hands on her. Yeah, I wouldn't either. That is super not appropriate. Revolutionary Tea is the second typewriter comment. And they say, if you're afraid for your safety or property, this is escalated to law enforcement issue. He lives there, so you can't arbitrarily evict him or change the locks, and so have the right to the property unless you get a protective order. Don't buy drywall and paint and let him have the fun fixing it, as one poster suggested. But no, you're worried about losing a relationship with your son, but Ballin is in his court now. He needs to be out of your house for good. Double Strawberry is a third already comment. She says, he sounds scary. I know you don't want to, but please reach out to law enforcement. Too many instances of it going way too far south. He needs help, and I hope his girlfriend gets away from him too. Lower Skin answers, yes, the mom and the girlfriend are in danger. He absolutely hates them. This isn't the first time he's been abusive. She's allowed him to stay there, not only kicked him out once it got to this level. Law enforcement isn't going to do anything to his son. Men protect other men when it comes to abuse on women. They might have to, though, depending on the circumstances. Next, we have Evil Building. This is Argo, Roskilde Incineration, Denmark. Tell me if it's evil. Whoa is right. That does not look evil to me. That looks kind of fun. Like the incinerator we looked at yesterday. What's with the nice incinerators? Quick Justice says, this is fantastic. An incinerator that looks like an incinerator but isn't ugly. Sparkle is the second top right comment. They say, Roskilde. Fond memories of taking the train to buy Christiania, and then going back to the festival to see the Chemical Brothers sometime around the beginning of the millennium. And Plunder Drone is a third top right comment. He says, Disco Furnace. Is that better or not as good as Disco Duck? I don't know. Next is Malicious Compliance, entitled, That's Not Funny, Go Home for the Weekend. Over 20 years ago, I changed an old-timer's computer screensaver. You know, the old one that just had the word banner scrolling over and over. I worked in sales, and there was an old guy named Bob. He was annoying, maybe because I was young, but he annoyed everyone, so it's not because you were young. It was because he was annoying. The kind of guy that would lie through his teeth to get some of your commission. Nice. Being older, he had more freedoms with customers. It drove us crazy. He would let people leave or they wanted to buy, but wanted to use a coupon. He would discount the call or get rid of the customer in a few ways. But other than that meant as other associates couldn't make the sale. As a team, we couldn't hit bonuses. He would do it many other things like this that would just drive you crazy. He was just a difficult coworker, a bad employee, but had been around the industry a long time, so guys that are now managers favored him because of their past, whether it was this company or others. Yeah, some people just get a free ride every time. Too many reasons to list why he was annoying, and I was young and didn't have much of a care. Different perspective of professionalism when I was a kid. So one day I changed his screen name to say, Bob is a jackass. I watched him type his password, waiting until he left, and then changed it. It scrolled across the screen over and over. He didn't notice it at first. It looked like the same old have a nice day or whatever scrolling. We would all giggle as we walked by and saw it. It was just funny to see. A day or so later, he's sitting at his cubicle chatting away. His screensaver almost must have popped up. You hear that, what is this? As he reads, Bob is a jackass. Who did this? This is defamation. Who did this? Not defamation if it's true, sir. The office is laughing. He's pissed. Goes right to the manager. Someone is defaming my name. This is workplace harassment. I want to know who did it. He makes it to HR, even to the owner's office. We don't know anything other than him complaining to the manager. The manager saying, let's see, seeing it, giggling himself, then telling Bob to calm down and change it, which he did. Let's go walk and talk. Bob is not having it, but they walk off talking. We go back to work not thinking about it anymore. An hour or two later, different manager says, hey, Mr. Johnson wants to see you upstairs. Cool. It wasn't uncommon. He would call associates for customers and tax or reviews or whatever. As soon as I get in the office, he says, what the way are you doing? You're trying to get me sued? This guy is an absolute nightmare. Do you know he has sued the company, that company, and that one? Why would you do that? You know it's on security camera, right? As using someone else's password. You're not supposed to use or share passwords ever. I said, it was a joke and none of us thought it was that big of a deal. We often share passwords so we can get info we need. We're all on the same team. He replied, that's a policy violation. That's it. You better hope I can keep him from calling a bigger issue. Go home for the next 3 days. You're suspended. Get out of my building right now. I mean, that is an appropriate reaction. It's not like he didn't deserve the suspension. He kind of did. I walked out the back door, down the back stairs to my car, and was gone. This was Wednesday, so that meant I had a 5-day weekend. Heck yeah, I was stoked. As I made it to my car, I heard somebody yelling, hey, James, Peggy wants to see you. Peggy was the HR lady. I ignored it, backed out, and drove the other direction. 15 minutes later, my phone was ringing. I'm not answering it. No way. These were the days cell minutes were expensive. I get home and tell my wife we have a 3-day weekend. It's barely 12 o'clock. We head out to the beach for 3.5 hours away. We are excited. About an hour later, my phone is called over and over. My wife says, just answer it, so I do. Hey, James, this is Peggy, and you just signed some forms about the 3-day suspension. Sorry, Peggy, I was told to leave. I left. I'm now out of town. I will have to sign another time. She's not thrilled, but not much we can do. Then a moment later, another car is my direct supervisor. James, where are you? We need the numbers put together for this client coming in today. And you have the presentation stored and this and that. Where are you? Mr. Johnson sent me home for messing with Bob's screensaver. Nobody told me. Why didn't you come down and tell me? We'll come back and give the reports and send the files to me. Sorry, I was told to leave the building right now. I've actually already left town. I'm over an hour away and won't be turning around. Then give me your password. I can't do that either. I was told not to share them. Sorry, sir. My phone minutes are being used and I can't talk much longer. I don't know what to tell you. Mr. Johnson sent me home. Said leave and said to not share passwords. I'm about to go through the coastal hills and we'll lose reception. Be here first thing tomorrow morning. We need to get these projects moving. Sorry, I won't be back till Monday. I was told to leave for 3 days. You've got to be kidding. He didn't mean 3 days. I will talk to him. No, he meant 3 days. I turned my phone back off. Then turning your phone off wasn't like turning off a smartphone, so no big deal. But Sunday, when I listened to the messages, my manager was telling me Mr. Johnson didn't realize we had projects in the works that I was leading, that he wants me to come back the next day. Then the next day's message was my manager saying Mr. Johnson is okay if I provide my password to my manager just this time. Hey, he said leave. I left. He said no sharing, no sharing. He said 3 days for company that never gave any time off. It was awesome to have a nice long weekend. Came back to work with this crappy business. No big deal. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. That's good. That's a good thing. They made or didn't make the deal. Maybe postponed it. It wasn't my problem anymore. They worked up new reports and half-assed presentations. It's all back to normal. It wasn't like now I was in trouble. Nope. I had my days off and some more, and I went back to work on Monday making a sale. And when you're in sale, problems go away if you sell something. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Paul Knapp says they can't bring themselves to say anything to Bob, let alone get rid of him, but had no issue sending you home for 3 days. Terrific management. Yeah, no kidding. Like, why was Bob allowed to be a jerk to everybody? Anyway, nicely complied there. Immediate means immediate. This is malicious compliance, by the way. OP says, thank you. And yes, Bob was an old white-haired dude. I was a 20-year-old kid. They knew Bob's history, but I did not. Apparently, he was often suing places. Even wondered why he was ever hired back, but the car business is a weird business. Esau says, I've read stories like this before. Bosses fires employee, or in this case, tells him to leave and not come back for a certain amount of time. Boss later realizes he needs employee for X reason. Boss says, I need you, please come back. Employee says, you fired me, / told me go away, and hangs up. Boss is in deep crap. I love it. Calm down, Reddit says, the third top rated comment. Haha, yeah, man. I miss the days of limited contact. Bullwinkle says, you can still have it. Not need to answer phones and still have an off switch. I use both message as I wish. If you want to get a hold of me, you better be paying for the phone. Next is AITAH, and it's entitled AITAH for not letting my neighbors into my flat. Probably not, because why would they need to be in your apartment? About 2 weeks ago, my neighbors stopped me outside my flat and started asking weird questions. They initially asked if I could let them into my block, and I asked why. They said they wanted to speak to the woman in the upstairs flat, that's me, to ask if they can access the roof for my apartment. I said no, they wouldn't be able to because ceilings are like 12 foot high. Why? Their son had been bought a drone for his birthday, crashed and I was made a voiceover on the roof. Because of course he did. It hasn't fallen back down. I said I would have to look myself on my balcony and see if I could spot it. I couldn't. I'd been on my way to head to work meeting and arrived 15 minutes late because I'd taken the time out to look for them when they'd asked. And yesterday I was walking home and the woman chased me down in the shop next to my flat. They approached me negatively and said they had tried to shout me down. I had headphones in. The woman asked me to come outside. When I paid for my stuff, I exited. She and her boyfriend were there. He starts walking toward me like, yeah, that's great. Thanks very much. And I was just like, what? She asked me to come outside. The woman goes, yeah, I've not asked her anything yet. So the male goes, is it all right if I come to your flat to have a look for the drone? No, I'm a single woman and no, you cannot come in my flat. And we are on that. I just can't get out of my head. I said, no, I'm not open to having people come in and out of my flat. I've had a look on the roof myself multiple times over various days from different windows from my flat, and it is not visible on the roof. It should be visible outside, like out on the ground. You should be able to see it. They didn't take it very well. Tried to negotiate. It'll only take 2 minutes, quote unquote. They're quite aggressive in their approach. I have PTSD from living in domestic violence, so my home is my safe space. I don't feel inclined to let strangers in for any reason, and you don't have to. You do not have to. There's a man who lives on the other side of me on the top floor. They don't seem to be asking him for access to his flat. Okay, you don't know that for sure. AITA for not letting people onto my flat to look for their lost drone on the roof. Edit. Thank you for all the comments. You really do take home safety seriously. I'm going to speak with my building management and let them know, as well as give my actual upstairs neighbor a heads up. Otherwise, I'll be standing firm if they accost me again. Thank you. Edit 2. Well, it felt like some kind of therapy to read NTA like 200 times today. I read every comment and really appreciate all the sincere, concerning conversations about women's safety in general. Thank you to people who shared experiences or messaged me to check in. You're all so nice. Thanks again. Mother Lux is a top rated comment, and she says, NTA, they can approach other neighbor instead. You do not owe them a thing, especially given how aggressively they approached you. I don't care how nicely they approached me. The answer is still no. You can't come. I looked for you. It's not there. I can't see it. So, no, you cannot come and look. I have eyes. I can see perfectly fine. Mad Max Turbator, please. Answers to add some of this. Something feels off with how aggressive they're being. Either you're just run-of-the-mill a-holes or they're criminally minded a-holes, maybe casing your flat to rob you. Just weighing no to all this. OP, good for you for saying no and keep looking out for yourself. Yes. OP says thank you. And then blaming Sunflower Land says, tell them you would be happy to call the police and have the police search the roof for the drone, but they won't be coming in. Well, they can call the police and have the police search for the drone. I don't think the police would do that, though. Police have better things to do than look for your drone that you did not take precautions on. Clever Girl Luck says, NTA. This is the second top rate comment. NTA, why would they need you to leave the shop to ask if they can go to your flat to look for the drone? There's something weird about their interaction, so I wouldn't entertain their approaches. If they ask again, tell them you said no and the conversation is over. Since they're obviously watching you so they can bump into you, I'd probably let the police know in case it's escalated. OP said, OMG, I never thought of that. I bet it's because I'm pretty friendly with the shop owners / workers. There's definitely something shady there. The first time they approached me, I had a significantly different hairstyle to my usual, so they did not realize it was me. That's why they said the woman upstairs. And the woman of the couple said, I've just seen her close the windows. And I was like, yes, that's me. So they're definitely watching the flat / trying to bump into me, which is not what I need after finally living somewhere I felt winging safe. You truly are a clever girl, thank you. Their top rated comment is from Night Visions. And they say, NTA, but report this to your landlord if you're renting. Get pics of these people and file a police report to get this on record. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. The police aren't going to do anything, but having it on record in case something escalates is always a good idea. Next time they come at you, tell them you have filed a harassment complaint, whether you do or not. Stop entertaining their approaches. It's clear they're lying and wait for you, so watch your back. You could also simply ask them why they're not asking anyone else for access, just to feel them out. The response to this should help you get a feel for what they really want. If it's allowed in your area, put a security camera in and do not answer the door for them again. You're feeling threatened because you are being threatened. Listen to your instincts. No conversations without witnesses moving forward. Yes, exactly. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled Condo Neighbor Thinks Everything is Communal. About 2 years ago, we practiced a vacation condo in a complex near the beach. That's mostly for vacation rentals. 2 units in our pod of 6 have sold since we purchased. The pod has a storage unit that is for use for all units and is solely store beach equipment. When we purchased, we were told that every unit just claims a spot and labels it in all items with their unit number. That is a bad way to do things. Better to have cages. This worked well until the newest unit was purchased. Husband and I are temporarily living in this condo while we build a house. We've discovered that the new neighbor has installed a large cabinet and storage area that is essentially their owner's closet for their unit. It takes up a lot of space, and then they have also claimed the wall space. In addition, someone, and we're pretty sure it was them based on what occurred, added a shelving unit and put all beach chairs on the shelving unit and all boogie boards stacked on top, and then got a large bucket and put all beach umbrellas and tents in a bucket. I mean, that's not the worst thing. I called COA management company about the excessive amount and misuse of space, but nothing has been done. I searched through and took all of our stuff back and put it in our beach cart. I noticed that unit across the hall from me did the same thing. A week later, I noticed owner's closet lock is open, so I think the actual owners are there, and suddenly everything's back on the shelf and in buckets. I took mine back again and also put neighbors back in their cart. This time they remained as I left them. I thought the issue was resolved. Last week, I ran across hall owners to find out that they've been having issues with their new neighbors, trying to make storage communal no longer than we were aware. She's complained about them to COA management, and nothing has changed. In the past week, there were renters in the new unit, which decided, despite being labeled for our units, they took my good chairs and across the hall neighbors' good chairs and my beach cart and my umbrella to the beach and returned everything to the storage covered in sand. Lovely. Lovely. It's not your stuff. Leave it alone. I made husband go wash everything. Why didn't you wash everything? Meanwhile, across the hall neighbor got mad and I left a note on stairs telling them to please not use her stuff. So I did the same, and I also moved my 3 best chairs to my deck and out of storage, which works temporarily but is not a good long-term solution. The next day, they left my stuff alone but still took hers, so she went up and told them in person not to use her stuff that isn't labeled for the unit. They are saying in that beach stuff isn't communal. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. Next day, I see them using her chairs again, so I make permanent signs to hang on the storage door that said, please only use items labeled for unit in which you are occupying. I left town work. Like, at least speaking. My goodness. I'm guessing it means I left town for work, and husband texted me when he got home from work saying that signs are gone. These condos are an okay size to stay for a week's vacation, but living there full time for a straight month is tight for husband and I. So there's really nowhere to put my beach items in my unit. Plus, no matter what you do, there's still residual sand that would spread inside the unit. Does anyone have a good idea how to deal with this? Since obviously management companies who have owner contact information isn't going to do anything. I don't have owner's contact information, and neighbor and I are pretty sure they are telling their renters to just help themselves with anything that's in the storage. Well, that's rude. We have an update. I was out of town last week, but I took the really good suggestion of several of you and purchased a bike lock. Saturday, when I arrived back in town, I wove it through the chairs and the cart and spoke of the umbrella and left it so the combo part was very obvious in front and could be seen by everyone in the room. It's now Thursday, and a new set of renters have moved into all condos, and so far so good that no one has taken or tried to use our stuff. Well, of course not. You got it locked up now. I told the crosshair neighbor, and she had me send photos of what we'd done. She's out of town for a few weeks, but has ordered a bike lock to be sent to her cleaning company, is asking them to install one on her items when they clean the unit after current set of renters. So I wanted to thank everyone for this suggestion, let you know that it looks like a nice cheap bike lock has solved the issue. Well, that's good, but people should still leave their stuff alone. Dio Freak is the top rated comment, and they say, would bike locks help? You could at least cable your chairs together. And OP said that was a good idea, and obviously she did that. Smile Crop. It's really sad that you have to do that. It's really sad that people cannot keep their paws off your stuff. Like, leave other people's stuff alone. Smile Crocodiles said, I would keep emailing and calling the management company and have other owners do so as well. I'd also suggest to manager that they install floor-to-ceiling chain link fence so that it creates a personal space for each unit. Each unit can install a lock on their storage space. Yes, that's the way to do it. Until then, I would buy a locking container and store your stuff in the storage unit in your locked container. But if I was really mad and feeling extra petty, I'd change the locks on the storage area and give everyone else except the unit that lets their renters take people's things a copy of their key. Oh, that's an idea. You can't even get into it. Next, we have Design Existence, and it is entitled, I taught my cat's dad to let me know if she wants pets, and I think she really likes it. She's not always in the mood to be pet, so I ask her by putting my hand next to her and saying pets. And if she wants them, she'll touch my hand, but if she ignores me, I know she'll get annoyed if I touch her. It might be a coincidence, but she enjoys being petted a lot more when we adopted her than when we adopted her a few months ago. It could be just a coincidence that she's used to now and likes pets, but it's not the worst idea. My cabinet is the top right comment. She says, mutual respect between different species. How nice. Electrical Act answered, consent. It's for everyone. Ophelia says, cats are all about consent. Respect it and you'll be their best friend. There goes my dryer. I hope it dried everything. Vin Minar says, my dog is a rescue and was really anxious when we got him and would shy away if we petted him. So he did something similar to make sure he was actually into it. Now, obviously, when he wants scritches because he will literally climb in your lap for them, pets are the best. Next is Found Satan, and it is entitled Cat Litter Surprise. And it's got this meme here. I believe this is for Porch Pirates. Oops. Replace your cat litter with an Amazon box. When it's full, tape it up and place it on your front porch for someone to steal. This is not mean. This is just appropriate. That's just what you should do. I would have to borrow cat litter. So I don't got none. But I know who to borrow it from. Colin K says me 5 minutes later. Ooh, I've got a delivery. What's inside? Time is tight. So it's got a really nice heft to it. It's got to be something good, something valuable. Ceramic Sunday answers 2 minutes later. Who's ordered cat crap again? FFS people. Freaky Chi says somebody needs to take those paint bombs I keep seeing in line, but I bet they would sell really well. Although I did see one net trap, but I think that would surely be AI. Digital Unlimited says, have you seen the glitter bomb fart spray ones? Those are awesome. Mine are more, I've never had some stolen off my porch probably because people can't see it, but I have had stuff delivered to the wrong house, which is annoying. Traveling Designer says, is the third time Friday comment. Do you do the same with human remains? You can make them out of compost. Oh my. Now that's Found Satan. That's satanic right there. Next is Just No Mill. It is entitled Mill lost a $200 piece of my wedding dress and refuses to apologize. I got married on June 13th, stored my wedding dress in the in-laws so my husband didn't see it. Went to get it the day before my wedding and it has been taken out of my garment bag and balled up like in a trash bag. So rude. I didn't flip out. I just took my dress to a friend's and steamed it to get the wrinkles out. Notice that the jacket is missing. No one knows where it went. My mother-in-law swears it wasn't in my garment bag when she moved it because obviously a trash bag was better to transport it in. I never lost my temper. Again, I just found a solution. The problem is the whole family acted like I had done something wrong. I refused to speak to me at our reception and have been saying how horrible I am for asking my Mill to apologize. Mill has refused to admit she did anything wrong. I don't know how to get past this. I truly have no desire to ever be around this family again. That stinks. That stinks because now you're married to it. I don't understand people. I do not understand people at all. I don't understand this mother-in-law. Slytherin says, what does your husband say about this? This is clearly unhealthy behavior. I would refuse contact until the source of this reasoning is found. Jinx says, yeah, I would go no contact with her. The bigger question, though, what did your husband say about his mother trying to ruin your dress? Because his reaction would determine whether we need to go to counseling or not. And Queen Queen Bee says, I would sue her. I mean, it's $200. You can go to small claims court for that. You're only going to get half the price of dress bag because it's going to take you $100 to do the lawsuit, but it might be worth it. Oh dear. This is from Infuriating. Guess what's in there? It's a vinyl record. That's gone. Posters should not be allowed to mess with stuff like that. It's just wrong. It's flare delivery disaster. I feel so bad. Amara Bean says, I'm so sorry for your loss. Historical Winter says, I miss record CD and music stores. Thrice Stride Died says, there's lots of them still around. Antique stores often have large sections for physical music also. So that's good. Hey, it's Bon Crosby said, even winged up your mailbox. That's crazy levels of incompetent and careless. Even does the door even close now? I mean, oh yeah, it's like crooked. Aggravating pain, or LP says, mailbox of plastic pretty much went back into shape after the contacts were removed. Slightly bent out of shape, but still works. Same can't be said for the vinyl record, though. I Be Dumb and Slow is appropriately named because they say super glue it back together. That's an appropriate username. Typing Dragon is the second top rated comment, or the third top rated comment, and they say, mail carrier here, this is absolutely awful, and I'm sorry this happened. Some people are just lazy, and you should definitely contact the post office with this picture. Ninfire says, I would hope that no postmaster would tolerate that. And Neon Narwhal answers, I feel like doing this takes more effort than leaving it at the front door. But again, lazy also means mentally lazy, so your point still stands. True that. Next is Am I the Jerk? And is entitled AITJ for staying silent when my friend got herself fired from the job she helped me get. Nope. Nope, not at all. You keep that job. Keep that job because you deserve it. She doesn't, obviously. My friend, let's call her Jean. Thank you for the actual name. Did me a huge favor a few months ago and helped me get a part-time job at her workplace. I was really grateful, worked hard, and made sure I did my job well. The problem started after I got hired. Jean became incredibly irresponsible and complacent. How do you know she wasn't like that before? She kept slacking off, assuming she could get away with it because she'd been there longer. I warned her multiple times not to get too comfortable, but she didn't care. Eventually, I told her straight up, as long as her behavior didn't affect my job or my paycheck, I wasn't going to say anything to management, but I wasn't going to cover for her either. That's appropriate. I just stayed silent and minded my own business. Well, karma caught up. Our boss did a surprise inspection the other day and caught her completely slacking off and neglecting her duties. She was fired on the spot, which tells me that they have been watching her for a while. Because you don't fire someone on their first offense. Almost never. Unless it's the only time that would happen would be if it was a safety issue or they were doing something illegal. Highly illegal at that. Now Gina's furious with me. She's blaming me for her getting fired, saying I should have given her a heads up or defended her to the boss, especially since she was the one who got me the job in the first place. Jean, she did warn you. She warned you that she was going to let you hang on your own by your own petard. But here's the thing. It was a surprise inspection. I had absolutely no idea the boss was coming in either. So how could I have possibly given her a heads up? I feel bad that she lost her job, but I feel like she brought this on herself. AITJ for not doing more to protect her. No, you gotta protect yourself, girl. Tease and desist is a top-rated comment, and they say she is just looking for someone to blame instead of herself. And TJ. Anna answers, true. She literally watched her slack off and still expects her to be her safety net. No. LP says, thank you. I know, and you know what's even more frustrating? Instead of asking me directly, she told everyone we know that I betrayed her. I reached out and told her I don't think she should blame me because I had nothing to do with it. But then a mutual friend sent me a screenshot to her reply to my message. I just don't understand why she couldn't reply to me directly. She keeps acting tough, but I know how cowardly she really is. Little Witten is the second top rated comment, and they say, so when you told her it was impossible for you to give a heads up, what did she say? And in what world would you say anything to the boss that would have done anything aside from causing your own job loss? Exactly. Background Edge says, if she was doing her job, she wouldn't have needed a heads up or have someone cover for her. I always did my job to the best of my abilities and stayed away from drama. You have to look out for yourself, let other people worry about themselves. And the third rated comment says, she got herself fired, not you, NTJ. Exactly. She got herself fired. She's just looking for, she's going on excuses. Okay, next we have expectation versus reality. It says $8 at Starbucks. So I guess this is what they were expecting for $8 at Starbucks. Quite delicious. Tomato and mozzarella on focaccia. Does it also have basil? Is it a caprese sandwich? That actually sounds really good. And now we can eat lettuce again, by the way. So that's a good thing. That is not a sandwich. That is a loaf of bread. Is there anything even in it? There's another picture. There's not even tomato in there. Holy cow. That's ridiculous. There's very little mozzarella and no tomato. And there's a leaf. There's one leaf. One leaf, no tomato. Jokington Pants says, look at all that tomato they gave you. Sierra Bravo answers, I see a red thing, a fragment of tomato counts. Buckin says, why do they go to Starbucks for food? It's all frozen, reheated garbage. Exactly. And Gasser says, same with Panera, overpriced garbage. Yeah, but every once in a while, I need a onion soup. I don't care that it's reheated crap. It's good. Somebody just put a meme with gorilla saying, where tomatoes? So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live 3 times a week, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but this week will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, because we're having company tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow, day after. Overmorrow, if you will. I said that, and my husband did not know what I meant by overmorrow. Day after yesterday. I said it to the little kids on Saturday. Stick around. You can learn some more things. More silly little trivia. Next to the real estate, and it says beautiful house, beautiful property, and the choices were made inside. Uh-oh. This is in Trinidad, California. That's not what to do. It is $700,000, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and a little, not even 1,100 square feet. Less than 1,100 square feet. So definitely for somebody. 1 bedroom, that's not even enough for me and my husband. There is no way. This would be a cabin in the woods for us. I mean, it's cute-ish. Could use a little more landscaping, maybe if you're going to try and sell it, but cute-ish. It's a cute little hovel. Why is there a bathtub outside? Why is the bathroom outside? Questions. Is that bird real or is it fake? It's fake. Oh, I like the door. The door's very nice. Looks like a medieval castle door or something. So we have a covered entry, a foyer, a day bed, like just that's weird. A day bed is not a room. A day bed is not a room. A bathroom, bedroom, a hallway, and then the living room, chicken, kitchen dining area. It has a sunroom, which is nice. And then building 2 has a garage, a workshop, and an office. So that's nice. And that's the area. You get a little triangle lot. It's big enough, I think. Oh, I like it. I like it. I'm sorry. That's cool. What do you mean choices? Okay, the heads could probably go. But the rest of it's nice. I mean, it's medieval-ish if you're into that. It's very red. That's okay. That could be your vibe. So this must be the day bed. That's so weird. So weird. Why? I have questions. Like, why? It's just so bizarre. It's not even a good view out the window. But I guess it would be good for reading, maybe? Why? 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 Just why? Windows are kind of high for my taste. I'm short, so. Yeah, okay, we're changing the color in the living room. That's purple. No, absolutely not. Probably also get rid of all the gold. That's too much gold. In the entryway, it's fine. Other places, not so much. Why do the windows all look like they're AI? Oh, I can't even with this. Is this the sunroom, supposedly? That this used to be the garage because that's awfully weird. That's an awfully weird window. It's just so purple. Cody and Robin live here. Oh no, that's their bedroom. Oh, I like that door too. I like the doors. I gotta say, I like the outside doors. You got your little stove going on. It's very blue, which I think we could tone down a little bit. You could keep it to go with the ceiling, but you could tone it down. Oh, you get to keep the little thing in the closet. It's very blue. It's incredibly blue. That is weird. It looks fake. It looks so fake. Oh my goodness. See, that's a nice, that's a better color. That's a better blue. Why are there drip marks on the walls? Like, come on. At least, like, edit them out if you're not going to clean the wall. I absolutely hate the walls in this bathroom. We had walls in a house that we lived in that was like this, and they are a nightmare. I hate them. I hate this plaster stuff so much. It's fine for a ceiling. Do not put that crap on the walls. It's horrible. The shower's nice. Too much blue in this. I would have to tear out this countertop and put something else there because that's terrible. Also, it's way too low, even for me, and I'm short. Nobody wants to bend down that far. And here's the kitchen. Triangle's not great, but it's okay. I like the stove. The stove's nice. I could deal with that stove. Chandeliers, and I don't like the orange. I can't even decide what color these walls are. I don't mind the cabinets so much. They do go with the theme of the house. Floor needs to be redone really badly. It needs to be refinished for sure. I don't like that because it's too high. Too high for me. It's not even where the refrigerator is, which is weird. Usually when you have a cabinet that high for no reason, it's because the fridge goes there. But they have the fridge right next to the stove, kind of like my house. My house does not have the greatest triangle, I'm just saying. Another house at the end. The other picture of the entry. More about the outside's very whimsically looking. It does have some landscaping features, but it's not landscaped at the present time. Like there should be something planted in here, unless that's the fire pit. It should be a big fire pit, but I've seen bigger. Owned bigger. Maybe a nice strawberry patch, maybe. You get a bit of land, it looks like. I still do not understand why the bathtub is outside. What are we doing there? There's no pool or anything. I could understand if there was a pool, but why? I mean, there's nobody around. It doesn't look like to see anything, so that's nice. Oh, this must be the top of the garage. You got a little shed. Oh, that's nice. It's near the water. There's the site plan again. And that daybed said it was 5 by 8 feet. That's huge. We're gonna get a 5 by 8 foot mattress to go on it. That's just so weird. It's just so weird. Let's see what we can find. It says, come and take a magical mystery tour. And you do get like 4 1/3 acres, so that's a nice sized lot. It's a one-of-a-kind retreat. It would not be big enough for me because I want my kids to come visit. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, inviting living spaces, a spacious kitchen, sunroom, and peaceful forest views from every window. That's not true. One of those views is outside of that sunbed, and it was not a view of the forest. It was a view of the garage. So no, that's not true. Outdoor soaking. That's an outdoor soaking tub. Like, why? Just get a hot tub at that point. Now I want an outdoor soaking tub. I just need a kiddie pool. That's all I need. If you're searching for a full-time residence, weekend escape, or simply a home with personality, this magical property offers a rare opportunity. You could have like a Harry Potter or some kind of medieval themed party there. That'd be fun. Let's see. Yeah, it does have partial fencing. There go deer. Mom and 2 babies. Has a concrete perimeter foundation, so no basement or anything. Built in 1965. That's as old as me. Property taxes are $8,000 a year, which could be worse, I guess. Let's see what peeps have to say. Cellrite Ultra Feed says outdoor bath would be amazing. I think it would be weird. Stealing from says a few years back I stayed in someone with a tiny cabin type thing nestled in the mountains that had a tub like this in lieu of an indoor shower bath. That setup required a fire under the tub for water heating. so it took some time to become usable. But the experience of bathing like that outside in the dead of night was a special kind of relaxing. I guess I can see that. Plankton Fun answers, bears love a good sous vide human. Pandas are the worst, is inspired. It says inspired by Royal Crown. Those elk answers, the interior designer drank half a bottle before. Usual role says I kind of dig it. It's like a Romani caravan or whatever the inside of a genie bottle would look like. Fabulous losses, or if you want to live full time in a Renaissance fair, there you go. Brother Affectionate says my sis and brother-in-law are super into Ren fairs. She performs the belly dance troupe professionally at several in the region, and this would be their dream home, to be honest. I believe that. I can see that. Server Life has a picture of Anthony Bourdain, and it says, "You've worked in the service industry. You'll never stop wanting to beat the general public to death with your bare hands." Obviously, he did not say that. They changed what it says. I'm done for real this time. If I don't get done, an enemy's gonna get dead. I'm so angry and I have nowhere else to vent. Nobody gives a crap. And for affinity. I can't wing take this crap anymore. I can't wing handle dealing with these actual lobotomite bottom feeder scumbags. These people, these winging animals who come in here and don't deserve to lick the crap from my feet. Selfish, belligerent, disrespectful, rude, so-and-so, winging, unbelievably stupid. Somehow I get the vibe that this person might not be telling the entire truth. Society failed when the brain dead were allowed to walk amongst the people, when survival of the fittest didn't call these imbeciles when they were 6, and they were allowed to get into several-ton death machines with their wife who regrets all of her life choices, and his children who don't either parents' hair color, who don't have either parent's hair color, and act like the 5-year-olds they mentally are about the texture of their winging burger bun. First of all, hair color is genetic. Doesn't match your parents. My kids have 3 different colors of hair. There's 3 of them. There's only 2 of us. And I don't think any of them exactly match ours. Yeah, this one might match mine a little bit. I've never been the most positive person. Oh, well, there's your problem. There's your problem, sweetie. But this job has made me question why I interact with the public at all. Yeah, I get that. I liked people before people ruined it. That's a different issue, though. Wing it. I don't wing and care anymore. Nihilism and misanthropy from now on. Just get a different job, sweetie. Wing them all. I know they're nice people. I've met guests every day, but will never be able to settle for even a fraction of the percentage of hate that fills my chewed off pinky nail compared to all the consuming rage and spite I feel every time I hear that winging restaurant door squeak or another winging delivery acting. I hate when places insist that you call customers guests. It's dumb. It's dumb. They're not guests. They're there to pay you. They're not guests. Guests don't pay you. Guests stay for free. Bree says, LMFAO. I'm so sorry for laughing, but I have BPD and go through this entire rant at least once a month. It isn't for everyone. If it's affecting your mental health to the point where you want to harm others, I'd find another job that won't consume you as much. I mean, I don't know why you're letting this job consume you. It's just a server job. It's not like people are going to die if you don't do this job. I totally understand how other jobs don't pay as much, but that's why all my rage, I continue on. Sending you love, I don't do anything dumb or hurt anyone, including yourself. It's normal to be pissed off, but if it's driving you to the point where I'd take at least a few days off. I took the first 9 days of this month off to stay home and stay away from people. Golly, dang it. Thought I got rid of all those moths. I thought I got rid of them, and now I see another one. And I killed one yesterday. I'm so mad. gotta have my kid do an emergency order. So she took the first 9 days off. You just got to budget and plan for it. OP says, I wish I was making US tips. At least I'd have something to show for this crap. I'm in the rural UK and we get paid minimum wage, and a very good night I might make 70-80% of my day's wage. I've only stayed here because I didn't want to job hunt again. Carlos Being says, you should reach out to Hospitality Action. I'm in the US, so I don't have personal experience with them, but they seem to be the equivalent of what we have here, Giving Kitchen, an organization designed to help restaurant workers in time of need, including mental health moments. Maybe server just isn't the life for you, sweetie. Wally says, get out quickly. Yeah, you should leave. You should go find something else to do. Maybe don't work with the general public. This is entitled Confession, and this is from Confession. It's entitled, I will admit that I did this. I was not wrong to do it. I still do it now. Once when I was very tired, beginning my 3rd or 4th month of us having a new baby in the home, I went to a local barber shop I've never been to before and handed the barber a note. I'm a deaf mute. I'm neither of those things. I just wanted 20 minutes with no talking, no thinking, just silence while I had my hair cut. I still go occasionally back. He still thinks I'm a deaf mute. It is glorious. I'm neither ashamed nor proud. Edit, I wrote this after seeing a post of a guy who pretended to be English while being French, so his barber wouldn't talk to him. I commented on that reply, in that reply thread about this action I did myself. I thought I'd make my own post about it here. Reflective Robot says, I have one professional laminated card that says I'm a deaf mute. But what if someone tries using sign language? Be ready with a second card that says, sorry, I don't know sign language. Main drama says, hands another card. So it turns out I'm also blind. Second top rated comment is from Other Squirrel, and they say, this is genius. Good dog answer is the third top rated comment. This seems weirdly familiar. So either he's reposted it or somebody else has a similar thing that they got going. Oh, come on. Go. All right, this is from, I'm not sure where this is from. Hold on. This is entitled, A Mother Cat Reassuring Her Kittens That the Golden Retriever is Harmless. I forgot what. This might be interesting AF, I'm not sure. Cats really don't like that dog for some reason. Aww. They'll be friends eventually. Oh, there we go. Now they're friends. They became friends. They're so cute, kittens. The puppy, the flipper. So nice. Somebody's top rated comment says, this is our friend. He's kind of dumb, but he's very warm. We like him. Wise comment answers, this is our space heater. He's kind of dumb, but he's very space heater. We like space heater. Temporary Soup says, cutest things I'll see this week. Probably. That was awfully cute. Demonic says, cats are straight up gangsters as soon as they open their eyes. The confidence of gods, the ancient Egyptians only viewed them as they view themselves. Next, we have Am I the A-hole? AITA for not helping a student of mine after he stole my customer. I'm an artist who makes and teaches students how to make stained glass windows. One of my students found out I was about to start a window for a couple that he now knows through another friend and then convinced the couple to drop me and go with him to make the window. I'd already drawn a quarter-size sketch to see if it was something the customer wanted, and now my student expects me to draw it out full size and actually help him make it. No, no, you don't have to help him. It's too large to work on in class. We've always had maximum size limit, and this is almost double. Working on a window this size would displace another student. Also, I'm supposed to store the window week to week so he wouldn't have to lug it back and forth from home since it's so large. No, he can do that at home. AITA for telling me it can't be worked on in the shop and that I'm not drawing a full size pattern, 56 by 34 inches for him. I told him he could have a copy of the sketch. Win or lose, I plan on showing him this. Good. Update. We have an update. So I just had class with the student, and he was sure to go work on this oversized window that he didn't have a pattern for. I honestly couldn't believe that he hadn't at least texted me about it during the week, but I guess that says something on his own about him. He walked in the door half hour early. Before he could say anything, I flat out told him that he could not make the window in my class, but he was free to do it on his own. As he knows, I have been told to hold off on the job. I had already told him last week that he couldn't work on a window that size in class, but he more or less refused to hear me. Still, I made it perfectly clear that although I wasn't actually going to show him the replies here, he got so adamant about it being my job to help him. It's not her job, their job. It's not their job to help him. It's not it, to teach him, yes, but not help him with a project that he stole. I ended up showing some of them. First off, he feels that I made him look bad because he hadn't actually pursued the job himself. He was referred to the couple by a common friend that they had. I said that I did mention that, but he feels that I didn't stress it enough. I went over the size limitation again and the fact that the only thing the customer and I had agreed on was a price and a extremely rough sketch of an idea that took me all of 15 minutes to make. I explained that I certainly wasn't about to spend any more time on fleshing out the sketch after I was informed the couple that I should hold off on the design. It was 2 days after this fact, last Monday, that Ray informed me that he was taking over the job, which left me sort of tongue-tied. Still, I explained to him very politely that I couldn't allow him to work on his commission in my class in my studio. When I mentioned tonight that the sketch was out of the question, he got angry. Well, Ray has some audacity, man, and still doesn't understand why I won't help him or allow him to make the window in my shop. As others were filtering in, he started getting louder and caused a bit of a scene. I have drawn patterns for him in the past, but he can't understand why I won't help him on this. He says that I'll make more money from him if he makes the window. How? But I certainly won't because he's never going to be able to do this on his own. Exactly. If anything, I'm saving the customer from a pitiful window. So the other students ended up hearing exactly what was going on. It's one room class. Of course it is, because most classes are one room. And although two of them stayed quiet, the others told me he was being ridiculous. The woman on the same table as him asked what she was supposed to do while he was using the entire table for himself, and he didn't answer. I kept my cool, but I have to admit, at times I was getting a bit loud, and then I'd catch myself. So yeah, he turned around and walked out. This was his last class of the month. I'm not going to allow someone who doesn't see how wrong a thing they did come back to my class. I just wonder what the customer will do. All in all, I'm 100% fine with things as they stand. I want to thank everyone here. I never expected to blow up like this, and to be honest, I hadn't. If I hadn't posed the original question, I definitely would have given him the sketch. So thanks again. Top rated comment from Al Wart says NTA. He doesn't even have the ability to deliver without your resources. Exactly. Exactly. 100%. Hunt Accurate says NTA, as second top rate comment, says NTA. I would not be helping him. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, and he needs a lesson in commercial reality. Not realty, reality. Griffin Adansi answers, bro is incredibly entitled. He undercut OP for the commission and now expects OP to do the hardest parts of the project. Exactly. Exactly. Change is a third top rated comment, and they say NTA, but do not give him the sketch you drew. Maybe offer to sell it to him at a premium price, but I would not even do that. It is not a project for his teaching, so he should not be able to work on it or store it in the shop. And do not help him with making the project, no matter how much he asks you. Ted says, I agree, NTA, and don't give him the sketch. He told this couple he could do the job, let him. Offer him nothing. He has apparently learned enough to get the client time for him to show his skills off. Also, shame on him. He clearly isn't ready, given his need for a teacher and lack of knowledge, lack of space, and lack of resources. Why did he think it was a good idea to poach your client for a job he isn't capable of doing? Best case scenario, he apologizes to you, tells the client they should hire you back. And if he's lucky, you're generous, and maybe he can help you learn while learning exactly what a job like this actually requires. That's insane. I cannot believe the audacity of that kid. I wonder what the expectation versus reality would be on that one, because it does not sound good. Next we have I Don't Work Here Lady, entitled Lesson Learned. Check what you're wearing before you enter a store. Why? Back in the era of 24-hour pharmacy, my husband and I dropped in after I got off work one night. It was around 11 p.m. and I needed to buy some Sudafed, not that PE garbage. Did they still sell the PE garbage? Because it's been proven not to work, like years ago. But the real stuff they kept behind the counter. I was standing there in line wearing my red polo and khaki pants, not even thinking that I'd walked in wearing their typical uniform of that period. So were you in Target? You did not wear red polos in Target, I'm just saying. I heard a woman ask where something was, and the lady responded to her, I'm too busy for that, hold on a tick. She walked up to me in the line and very rudely, hey, you can't just stand here talking to people, go back to work. That customer over there in the aisle, whatever, needs your assistance. It took me a second to register this woman was speaking to me when she pointed at me with her finger only a couple of inches away from my face. You want to keep your job and get back to work. I laughed loudly and said, I don't work for you. She rolled her eyes without so much as an admission of her mistake and went behind the pharmacy counter. When it was my turn to get to the register, the associate told me they couldn't serve me there and I'd have to go elsewhere. I asked why, and I was told that I was being asked to leave the store. I called the customer service line and got a pretty generic apology, something along the lines of, we'll reach out to the management of that store and let them know this happened. I've never heard any more about the situation. I'm really glad that lady wasn't my actual manager, though. I feel so bad for her employees knowing that she talks to them that way. Wow. The audacity. You don't even recognize your own coworkers? That's terrible. Durson says, her not knowing that you're not wearing the uniform is one thing, but not knowing the staff she was in charge of took this to a whole different level. Exactly. OP says, I had thought of that too. Maybe I looked like someone who worked there on her shift. I don't know. I didn't see anyone in the area that could easily be confused with. Bill Stick says, then to essentially ask you to leave the store and not serve you as a customer because she was embarrassed is just a pathetic excuse for a person. Yes, that's terrible. I would be apologizing and going, let me get you to the front of the line, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Update on my computer. I don't know. Somebody, as the second comment says, not only how she talked to you thinking you were an employee, but she told a customer that she was too busy for that. Zaya Fire says, pretty colorful story, huh? Arm says, if she's a qualified pharmacist with a queue of people who need a pharmacist and it's a random question that can be dealt with by any staff member, and here's what looks like a staff member standing around chatting nearby. It's not a ridiculous reaction. Yes, it is. You don't say, I'm too busy for you to a customer, ever. You say, let me get somebody that can help you for that. Obviously, she could have been politer about it, and her behavior on finding OP wasn't an actual staff member was completely wrong. The first person that started the thread says, no, it's actually a ridiculous reaction. That is not at all how to do customer service. She doesn't have actually she doesn't actually she doesn't have to actually interrupt her task to help if she doesn't have time, but at least she could have been, I'm sorry, I can't help you right at this moment, but there is another staff member who can help you. Even then, if she pointed at OP, it would have been a decent customer service, and OP could have just politely redirected with, actually, I don't work here, but there are staff members point over the counter over there, whatever. Telling a customer, I don't have time for this, to a simple where is question is what you do when you don't want to be employed anymore. 150%. Their top rated comment is from Minty Caramelizy Hazel. Okay. It's Caramely Hazel. Minty Caramely Hazel. A manager doesn't know the face of the people working for them. Yeah, I pity her employees. Professional March answers, turnover is probably pretty high under the Queen of the Damned. 100%. 100%. Next is overheard and is entitled Aloof. I overheard my dentist and his assistant talking while they rendered 3D scans of my teeth. Dentist, so you don't know what the word aloof means. Assistant, I know what it means now, but when I heard the word come out of her mouth, it was my first time hearing it. I had no idea what she was telling me. Dentist, so when she called you aloof, what was your reaction? Assistant, I asked her to repeat the word, and she did like 3 times back to back, aloof, aloof, aloof. I nodded like I was listening to someone speaking parcel tongue. I laughed for no reason before telling her that she almost sounds like my dog when she barks in sleep. Dentist, did the date go from aloof to kapoof? Assistant, she misinterpreted my dog comment, thought I was telling her a B word, so yeah. Dentist, okie dokie, worse than an aloof to kapoof, just oof. I like this dentist. This dentist has a sense of humor. Grumpy Cat Stevens is a top rate comment. They say, going from aloof to kapoof is quite the goof. And Froofy says, ain't that the truth? Grumpy again answers, and we have proof. Sure Satisfaction says, guy must feel like a doof. Big category, the embarrassed has no roof. This thread is becoming a spoof. I'll drop a comment and then I'll go poof. Dog comment was rather uncouth, all because of her tooth. It drove her through the roof. That's why I love Reddit. London says, once in a hospital waiting room, I heard a man trying to explain to the nurse why his daughter might yake a long time to come around from general anesthetic. Take. I think they meant take. I don't know what yake means. I assume he meant to say narcolepsy, but what he actually says is just going to start. It's like case of necrophilia. Oh. Ding Dong Biatch says a slight case of necrophilia is licking corpses' toes. And Patent Mom says toe tag kink. I'm Hot says that's not a miscommunication, that's a master class in making things worse. Nia says a disaster class, if you will. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one. I enjoyed that. The dentist was fun. The comments were fun. It was a good read. Next is from True Off My Chest and is entitled My Mother-in-Law Sat Me Down to Talk Religion. I'm Not Religious. Gloria asking, why do people do this? I, 27 female, sat down with my super religious mother-in-law, 65 female, to talk about her Catholic religious beliefs. For years now, she's been trying to understand why I'm an atheist and finally sat down with me. At one point, our conversation turned to me saying that, while I don't believe in God, I respect those who do because they are allowed to. As long as no harm comes to others, I really don't care. That's the proper attitude to have. In response, she told me, I don't care anymore if you're religious. What I care about is what you're doing for the world and our communities. I say you're doing more for our world than anyone I know, and I love you for that. Aww, that was not what I was expecting. Yes, and atheists are some of the nicest people on the planet. I went back to my hotel room that night and cried. I thought she hated me, yep, and held something against me for not converting like my sister-in-laws had done, when in fact she holds me in such high regards. I heard her talking to her sister later that day about what I do and how much respect she holds for me. I have no one else to tell this to other than my husband. I wanted to get it off my chest. I'm gonna cry. That's beautiful. What people should be. Rear Traveler says this is how religious indoctrination works. Force compliance through peer pressure. Stand firm on your beliefs that God does not exist. It's ironic that those same religious people will cast you out. It's reaffirming that their religion is just a front and a cult. I've been in this situation and do not give in. Did you even read it? Virtual signaling at this level is mental manipulation. Manoa says it's not virtue signaling. It's an old woman who is viewing the world through a religious lens, telling her non-religious daughter-in-law that despite their differences in beliefs, she so highly appreciates her and believes she's a good person, even if she believes religion is better. I don't know what happened to you in your life to feel this harshly about religion as a whole, but you've got to try to see it from their perspective, even if you can understand the flaws in the logic, sympathy, and all that. Flippin' Jimmy says, "Holy Reddit," with a skull emoji. She holds me in high regards. You're being manipulated with an angry face. So the original guy, Weird Traveler, says, where do they get the high moral ground to hold them in high regards? It's a made-up caste system. Even if you don't believe, I guess you're still a decent person with really terrible logic. Slippin' Jimmy says, you don't need to be religious to understand that some people do more / benefit society more than other people. Exactly. Oh, geez. I'll PM you about God. He says, the word religion has become so tainted over the years. It's a real shame because God is good. God was good. Why is there so bad? Diamond Lady is a second top rated comment, and she says, I was raised and baptized Catholic. I was also baptized in a Baptist church as a kid. I have been to a Lutheran church and non-denominational churches. I'm no longer practicing religion. I'm more spiritual and don't believe that you need a building to speak to your higher power. I lost my faith in the churches because I saw hypocrisy after so many services. It's all made up. I believe that if you do good in life, you will reach heaven or nirvana after death. I believe everyone is entitled to worship in their own way and that God we pray to is the same person with different names by different religions. Okay, I guess you can believe that if you like. You're free. Oh. Next is from What to Do, and it says, I think my friend stole the $200 plus year family heirloom from me. So she asks if she borrowed her ring. And the girl says, I don't know. I don't even wear rings. And then has a picture of her with the ring on. Call the cops. Call the cops, especially if you have a picture of it. Oh, and by the way, take pictures of all of your jewelry just in case something goes missing. Because if you don't have a picture, the cops won't do anything about it. Trust me on this. Personal experience. I 29 female. Had a ring that's been passed down to my family for 5 generations to the firstborn daughter in every generation. To give some backstory, a few months ago, I had about $500 in cash missing from my drawer in my room. I'm a bartender and I only deposit my cash a couple of times a month. The first person that came to mind is a girl, 24 female, that was at my house over the weekend that I trusted to be there alone. I didn't think she would do that, so I questioned myself and thought maybe I just spent more than I realized that month. Fast forward to a few days ago, she stayed over the weekend again. She never has money, doesn't have a car, and stays with her grandma, so occasionally I'll let her stay with me. Well, on Sunday night, she told me she was going to an AA meeting and then came back 3 hours later and seemed drunk and had bags of stuff from 7-Eleven. My boyfriend, 34 male, told me he doesn't like her and has always gotten bad vibes from her, and he brought my purse into my room that night because he didn't trust her. The next morning, I woke up to go to work and couldn't find my AirPods anywhere. I texted her and asked about it, and she said she hadn't seen them. When my boyfriend woke up, he called me and told me if $40 in cash was missing from his wallet, that he left in the living room. At this point, I'm like, okay, well, obviously she took those since she was the only one there. $40 and some AirPods is a price I'll pay to know I don't want somebody in my life anymore. A couple of days go by, and I randomly thought to go check and see if my ring was still in my jewelry box, and it was gone. That then led to my boyfriend looking for his expensive watch that also turned out to be missing. I texted her asking about my ring, and her response was weird. I don't know if a friend texted me that message, I would at least be more sympathetic. I know for a fact she stole my AirPods and cash, but I don't know if she stole the ring and the watch. I'm not sure anyone who else would have, though, or even the chances, since nobody has been to my house alone. I don't know what to do. I have no proof or anything. That ring means everything to me and something I was going to pass down to my kids one day. I'm heartbroken. My AirPods are first generation. I can't track them unless I'm connected to them. I attached our text of me asking her and her response, and then also a picture of her that's on Instagram, literally wearing rings. I've made a police report and a flyer that I'm going to take to pawn shops. Please, if anyone has any other suggestions, anything is helpful. Edit: for everyone leaving negative comments toward me. I know my lack of boundaries and willingness to help and trust people that don't deserve it got me into this. No need to say negative things, and say it's my fault and make me feel worse than I already do. Lesson was learned. Do I set boundaries? Yes. But I do not think I'm stupid or an idiot for trying to help be there for someone who I thought was a friend. I now know it sounds like I'm defending her and making excuses in the comments, but I think I'm just trying to find any other explanation deep down because it hurts to think someone I helped and cared for would do this and then lie to my face. People that would do that would lie to your face. Appropriate ball says call pawn shops in your area immediately to see if anyone sold a ring with that description. Also on how this works. But if you know she stole all that stuff for you, A, she isn't your friend, and B, file a police report immediately. Euphoric estimate says she's guilty as lying. Darren Watts says, I don't even wear rings. She's sweating. Waiting and Waiting says, I actually can't sweat her / Prince Andrew. Next is Best of Redder updates entitled, My brother-in-law claims he's been dating the same woman for 10 years. She says they haven't spoken in 10 years. Original post was June 30th, 2026. My brother-in-law, in his late 30s, has been supposedly dating the same girl for 10 years. Let's call her Brady. His name is Jim. They met when she was a student teacher, so he was an adult, and she was still in high school. She is my age, maybe a year younger, probably 28. Jim's brother, Dullen, and Brady, graduated together, and they did not get along primarily because she ratted Dullen out for something that he claims he didn't do. He's a liar sometimes, so I don't know how reliable that is. Fast forward to now. I've never met Brady. I've been with my husband, Bork. He named her husband Bork. I'm like, the name cannot possibly be Bork. Jim's brother since 2018. Jim has never brought Brady to family reunions, holidays, or weddings, etc. There's always been some excuse. Also note that Jim does not have social media. Jim talks about Brady's niece and nephew all the time and knows all the details about him and has shown us pictures, etc. Sometimes Jim cannot come to family events because he says he's with Brady. My mother-in-law has even said she's heard him talk to her on the phone, shown her pictures, heard him call her sweetie, and says that she's on his phone plan. He's also been able to relate some issues with her that I've had issues with, like my gut health, anxiety, and whatnot. He's talked about where she works and what she does, etc. He's talked about moving closer to her. She lives an hour and a half from us. Additionally, a few years ago, we saw Brady's sister and their kids that he talks about all the time at a pumpkin patch, and Jim bolted the other way, which was weird since that's her sister and he talks so highly of her and her kids. This is where it gets weird. I don't know. That would seem pretty weird to me. In October of last year, my husband found a picture on Facebook of a firefighter and Brady kissing at a Halloween party. Since Jim doesn't have any social media, my husband sent it to Jim. Jim thanked him and was sad for about 5 minutes. Then Jim then proceeded to begin talking about Brady again this last month. At work, he's been telling people we work in the same building that they've been together for 10 years. Also, me and husband found out last year that Brady is a third cousin on their dad's side. So a few weeks ago, I decided to follow Brady on Instagram and invite her to my son's birthday, as well as introduce myself, since, well, I've never met her. I noticed immediately that there are no pictures of her and Jim, and she says she isn't shy, and she isn't shy of posting. She replied and said that she has not talked to Jim in 10 years. Jim immediately messages me and tells me not to talk to Brady and thanked me for thinking of her, though, and that they were working through some things. I messaged Brady back and said, "Oh, LMFAO, I'm so sorry. I thought y'all were together. He talks about you all the time." Jim immediately texts me again and tells me to block her. She messages me back and says, "It's okay. What does he say about me?" And I told her general things about her niece and nephew, since they're the same age as our kids, her health and how it related to mine, how we have similar nicknames from Jim and my husband. She left me unread. Jim came by my office at work the next day and said he was sorry for that interaction I had with her. Not sure if he knows she told me they hadn't talked in 10 years, that she was overwhelmed by the kind gesture of me reaching out, and that she didn't know how to react. Mhm. He said her mom called and she was upset that she might have to go console Brady. For what? For someone inviting her to a birthday party? Jim seemed nervous during the whole conversation with me in person. He wouldn't make eye contact and seeming like he was searching for words during that whole interaction. Then he told my husband something completely different. He told him that she was overwhelmed by me messaging her. Really? Doesn't explain why she told me it's been 10 years since Jim and her talked. Just left the conversation at that. Since then, Jim is randomly the other day a very specific detail about her dog. I did mention her cousin, who I'm friends with her friend, and she was flabbergasted by all of this, saying that Brady has brought several guys home to meet the family function over the last 10 years, and that she even had one recently, and that she had mentioned Jim since they were supposedly secretly dating when she was underage and he was an adult student teaching at her school. What's going on here? Your brother-in-law is a weirdo? A weirdo creep? My husband doesn't want to this issue with a 10-foot stick because he thought his brother was being insane is maddening to him. If your brother's insane, your brother's insane. There's nothing you can do about it. This entire family has some loose screws. My husband is the only one that seems normal. What are your thoughts? I don't know about your husband being normal. Not sure. Are there other subreddits I can post to? Any theories? Any thoughts from outsiders are welcome. I feel like this is a Dateline episode, and no, I'm not nosy. I'm just too far deep into this to back off. Because if my brother-in-law is a sociopath, I'd love to know. Commenter 1 says maybe her mom has another account and pretends to be her. But if he says he sees her in person, then maybe it's a creepy stalker or has some kind of delusional breakdown. Something isn't right here. Maybe he's gay or has some other secret and doesn't want you to know, so he made up a girlfriend. OOP says, I do think since he's claimed she's on his phone plan that the mom has been pretending to be Brady this whole time, and since he may be desperate, so obsessed with her, he may not be okay of not ever seeing her, and she just strings him along. I don't know. Update. Well, y'all were right. It got somehow even weirder. I reached back out to Brady one last time, and I honestly felt bad for dragging her into this. I wanted to make sure that she was okay, and this wasn't some kind of blink twice if you need help situation. She basically said, no, I wasn't overwhelmed. I was just confused why he's still talking about me. She told me she has zero contact with Jim in 10 years and has absolutely no intention of ever speaking to him again. She said she was genuinely creeped out that he knows so much about her life. She also told me she wasn't upset with me at all. She was just uncomfortable because of him. Then I asked her how Jim could possibly know all these insane specific details about her life. I'm talking about her nieces and nephews, her dog, her old job, her health problems, the fact that she has told all of us they're still dating, that she's on his phone plan, and that he's pretended literally to talk to her on the phone in front of his family. To that, she said, WTF, none of that is true. I don't even have his phone number. Apparently, the only explanation she could come up with was maybe her mom had been talking to Jim over the years. So she called her mom right after I messaged her that, which I guess explains why he knew so fast. And her mom admitted they stayed in touch and just talk about life, which, what? That's weird. I would not be friends with my kids' exes like that. That's so bizarre. Brady said she was completely blindsided by that and got into a huge argument with her mom because she feels like her privacy has been totally violated. Because it was. I mentioned that Jim recently brought up her dog in a random story about one of her friends literally the other day, accidentally feeding him grapes. Brady said, yeah, that actually happened, but I only told family and close friends about this. She asked me to please let her know if Jim keeps talking about her because she wants to know if this continues. At this point, I honestly don't know what to think. I will share, though, that after the first interaction with her, when we were all done talking about it as a family, me, husband, mother-in-law, and Dolan, apparently her mom, according to my mother-in-law, is kind of crazy. I didn't believe it at first because it didn't make sense, but apparently she's obsessed with her daughters. She's obsessed with her daughters and posts all of their pictures that she posts, which I guess explains where Jim has been getting pictures from the mom. We all joke that maybe Jim is being catfished by the mom. But I think maybe the mom is so obsessed with the daughter, she shares everything with everyone. And maybe Jim has taken this information and created a fake relationship with her and casually asked for pictures and updates on the family. I don't know. I'm confused and tired. Commenter 2. So wait, Jim is secretly with Brady's mom? OP says, that's my theory. Commenter 2. Oh man, is Brady's mom married? OP says, yes, but I'm not sure if it's happily married or just married. I want more updates on this. Inquisitive Sky says, 1, my brain can't seem to handle this. 2, why are we glossing over the part where the man basically instantly knew she'd been messaged? What sort of access does he have? Exactly. Talia Simi says, yeah, I picked up on that and assumed he had gotten her login information on a burner device and sees the messages or something. That's scary. Kyle Hi Def says Bork. Just Bork. Oh. Thank you, John says, this is not enough updates. Dehydrated says, seriously, I need to know more. Holy crap. Cheeto Low says, I need to know more about Bork. Okay, I'm going to use a bad word here. Just warning. Wazacraft says, what? And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. The fuck. Yeah, I agree. What in the heck? This is from Made Me Smile, and it says, when this kid tried interviewing celebs on the red carpet, and no one took him seriously except one of the nice ones. Yep, Sandra Bullock.
To know that you're with a legitimate company. Okay.
I'm here with Sandra Bullock.
Where am I looking? Right here?
Yes. I'm here with Sandra Bullock. How did you become such a good actress?
Lying. I lie really. The thing that your parents tell you not to do, I did anyway, and I just do it really well.
What's up with all the chick flicks?
I'm a chick. What's up with all the dude flicks? What's up with all the kids' movies? See, that was a good one, huh?
Can your husband build me a motorcycle?
Jess, this young man right here wants to know if you can, he's with KCET, wants to know if you can build him a motorcycle. Yeah. You got to say not to your 8 children. No, you can build it now. Oh, see, don't listen to him. No, he cannot. He can build you a bicycle. with some nice pinstriping, but you cannot have a motorcycle till you're 18.
Aw, she's nice. I love that. I love that she did that. KX Excel says, no, you can't have a motorcycle until you're 18. Right into mom mode. Oh no. Art in Texas, bro only made it to like 23. I hope he got his motorcycle. Oh. He passed away from sickle cell. That's heartbreaking. Poor kid. We really need to get a cure for sickle cell anemia. Really, really, really do. Sufficient Energy said, if I were stuck on a red carpet in an uncomfortable dress surrounded by people who couldn't possibly care less about if I was enjoying myself or not, I would absolutely talk to the kid with a mic trying to make people laugh. And 100%. Martin the Red says, what a woman. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope tomorrow is lovely for you, and I will see you on Friday. Friday, every time on Friday. Love you all. Have a good have a good evening. Try and get some sleep. It's hot. I'm too hot to sleep. I've been up 5 o'clock every morning. I'm going to bed till midnight. Bye. Love you all. Take care. Love you all. Bye.